2019 Porsche Cayenne. It took Porsche 53 years to sell the 1,911s. Porsche has sold 770,000 Cayennes in the 15 years since it was launched in 2002, and the millionth will probably be built in about 3 years. As much as we love and cherish the sports cars from Stuttgart, Porsche in the 21st century is the house that the Cayenne SUV built. Highs. Sports sedan handling, sports car steering, luxury car room and comfort. Lows. Sport utility mass, Porsche prices. It's clear that Porsche didn't want to mess with success, so the new third-generation Cayenne looks a lot like previous Cayennes. Softly rounded front fenders, gaping air intakes, a bulging hood, and the shape of the greenhouse are all clear Cayenne traits that have carried through. It's slightly lower and wider, but Porsche didn't radically alter the formula. It could have, as the 2019 model is entirely new. No sheet metal carries over, and the Cayenne is now on a new platform. At this point, though, changing the model into something completely different would make about as much sense as replacing the 911 with a front-engine sports car. You laugh, but that almost happened. See 928. Built on the MLB platform, that also forms the basis for the Panamera sedan, and most Autos including the Q7 SUV. The Cayenne retains its 113.9-inch wheelbase, but the new architecture brings more aluminum to the structure, which reduces mass slightly. A longitudinally mounted engine is located just ahead of the front axle, which contributes to the V8-powered Cayenne carrying 57% of its weight up front, a very Audi-like number. The lighter V6 models are slightly less nose-heavy. The familiar and excellent ZF Source 8-speed automatic bolts directly to the engine, and now incorporates the front differential. Order the Sport Chrono package $1,130, and the transmission adds a launch control function that reduces 0 to 60 mph times by about 0.3 seconds for each engine, according to Porsche. Power Trio. The 2019 Cayenne will be available in 3 strengths, with each rung of the Cayenne ladder adding roughly 100 horsepower and lopping about a second off the sprint to 60 mph. When the Cayenne arrives at dealers in July, it will start at $66,750. The base version comes with a turbocharged 3.0-liter V6 pushing 340 horsepower and 332 pounds-foot of torque, an engine shared with the base Panamera and Audi's S4 and S5. Responsive and quiet, the single-turbo 3.0-liter has 40 more horsepower than the outgoing Cayenne and moves the approximately 4,500-pound SUV with satisfying ease. It pulls smoothly, never calls much attention to itself, and feels appropriately powerful. The factory claimed 0 to 60 mph time is 5.6 seconds with launch control or 5.9 without. The base engine's biggest problem is that two stronger options exist. For an additional $17,200 over the entry-level version, Porsche will bolt its 440 horsepower twin-turbo 2.9-liter V6 into the Cayenne S, which drops 0 to 60 mph times to 4.9 seconds, 4.6 with launch control. Compared with the base engine, the extra power and the 405 pounds-foot of torque are immediately noticeable. Passing power is superb, and the S has an eagerness that's missing from the base engine. The twin-turbo V6 also has a louder and grittier growl from 3,000 RPM to redline than does the base 3.0-liter. Aside from the sound of the V6 working, there's little else that disturbs the cabin, as road and wind noise are kept to luxury car levels. At the top of the Cayenne cast is the turbo model, arriving in the fall of 2018 and priced at $125,650. It now boasts 550 horsepower, 30 more than before, and 567 pounds-foot from a twin-turbocharged 4.0-liter V8. According to Porsche, the new turbo outperforms the previous Turbo S model, whose twin-turbo 4.8-liter V8 put out 570 horsepower. A claimed 0 to 60 mph time of 3.7 seconds is astonishing enough before you consider that Porsche's acceleration reports are almost always conservative. The last Turbo S we tested hit 60 in 3.8 seconds. It's no surprise that of the three engines, the V8 sounds the best. Graced with a smooth and deep voice and a booming exhaust, the V8 seems to pride itself in announcing its V8-ness, but it isn't as loud as the thundering Mercedes-AMG V8 of the same displacement. Traveling where Minotaur trod before, Porsche provided all three powertrains at the launch program on the Greek island of Crete, mythical home to the ancient world's crossover, the half-bull, half-man Minotaur. The three models came stacked with chassis options. All of the cars had four-wheel steering, $1,620. Active anti-roll bars, $3,590, three-chamber air springs, $4,160 on the base Cayenne, $2,170 on the S, standard on the turbo. Pirelli Peak Zero performance tires, and an electronically controlled limited slip differential and brake-based torque vectoring, $1,500, available only on the S and the Turbo. With nearly identical chassis setups, the three Cayennes felt remarkably similar when pressed through the canyons. What we noticed first was the exceptional steering.